One of my go-to YouTube videos is There's Gotta Be Something Better Than This and Move On by Sam Harris with music by Peter Matz. I am a huge fan of this video and have been so for a long time. So it is with my great pleasure that I introduce Sam Harris. Sam,
Hi,
how are you?
I am so well. And yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
I am such a fan of your videos on YouTube.
Thank you.
Also, oh my God, the song from Dear World.
I
Um,
don't want to know.
yes, I swear to God, I listen to these two videos at least once a week.
Stop it.
I'm not
Wow.
kidding.
Well, I'm honored. You know, the one you were talking about, there's got to be something better than this with Move On. Something better than this is from Sweet Charity by Cy
Right,
Coleman. And Move On is Stephen Sondheim from Sunday in the Park with
of
George.
course.
And I had this idea, and Peter Matz orchestrated it. And it's just, he's so brilliant. He was so brilliant. And it's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite arrangements, too. So thank you.
I actually once asked you for a copy of this, and something about it got destroyed at a garage.
A
That
copy of the, of
of
the,
the
of the
arrangement, because I think that thing
oh.
is the best arrangement in
Can I
life.
tell you something? I was actually singing it at Peter Matz's memorial,
Mm.
and with an orchestra, and Barbara Streisand was there, and she was like, I need to get this arrangement. I need to sing it. I'm like, no, 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 this is my arrangement, Barbara.
It, it is the best arrangement, I think, of two songs mashed up I've ever heard.
Thank you, thank you.
So I love
My
the new
dog.
look.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I have a cat that's wandering around somewhere.
Give me
Uh,
1 second.
sure.
Sorry, a delivery just came, and you know they think it's for them.
I love the new look.
The new gray.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think I know a lot of people who stopped coloring their hair during COVID because here we were at home in our sweatpants. We weren't working, and it was like, this is me, kids, you know. And now you can't go back because then everybody knows.
It's nice. I like it though. I think it's distinctive.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So you're doing a new show at Feinstein's 54 Below,
Yes.
talking about gray. So tell us a little bit about that show.
Well, it's so much new material. I mean, I'm doing old favorites and things that I've done on stage and recorded, but there's a lot of new material. And I think that it was, you know, as you may or may not know, I really try to create my shows with a theatrical arc. I'm a theater guy, and so it's not like a set list, you know, it goes somewhere, it's lots of different things. And I think during COVID, I really looked at what I wanted to say, what all so many of us were going through. And the show is not, you know, maudlin or anything, but there are some moments of reflection. I mean, I'm opening with "Happy Days Are Here Again" because, damn it, we're back in the clubs, we're back in the theater, and it's a brand new arrangement that I really love singing. Um, so it's kind of just, I call it openly gray because that makes me laugh, but
Makes me laugh.
but it's a lot of different kinds of material that some poignant, some introspective, some just fun and silly. And I'm really excited because the last time I played New York was December of 2019, right before the world went crazy.
I was there.
You were?
I was.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. You guys also were very kind to me when I did Ham in New York, my show, my one-man show, and
I
then
love
you
that.
now it's been filmed. It was filmed at the Pasadena Playhouse, and it
Oh,
came out beautiful. So it's streaming everywhere, but it's a gorgeous production, and I'm really proud of it.
are you still hammy?
Well, yeah, you know, once a ham, always a ham. But I'm less. I guess I don't need the attention like I did when I was younger. It doesn't define me in the same way. And you know, I have a 13-year-old boy, almost 14, and he's the one who gets the attention.
Amen. Of all the songs in your new show, which one are you looking forward to people hearing?
Well, I'm doing Use What You've Got from The Life, which opened the show, which was my opening thing. And Billy Porter, my dear friend, is doing a revival of The Life, a reimagined adaptation of it at City Center, like while I'm there. In fact, I'm seeing it because I live in Los Angeles. And so that's important for me because, I got to originate that role and I'm excited about singing that song and a few other things that I've done on stage or Broadway. And I love the new arrangement of Happy Days Are Here Again. I'm doing Crazy. The what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me that song? Excuse
No,
me.
I don't, but I'm glad you said it.
Crazy because we've all been nuts.
That's
I
true.
just got a little frog in my throat. But you know what else
Hmm.
that's important here for me? I said I haven't been in New York, but none of us were really working for 2 years. And on top of that, when I started sort of getting back in shape to sing again and start working again, I strained and then hemorrhaged a vocal cord. Yeah. And
Oh,
I was it wouldn't heal properly. And I was on voice rest for almost 5 months.
wow.
And I ended up having surgery. And thankfully, I have the greatest doctor surgeon in the world for singers. And, but it was a lot to come through. First of all, being on voice rest is no easy task at all.
Especially when you sing your life.
When you sing and it's your identity, and then, just like being in a household, like my son just felt I was annoying.
He's
Um,
13. That comes with the par.
That's true. So I'm in great shape now. I'm singing actually. My fear was, am I going to sing again at all? And then it was, am I going to sing like I want to be able to sing? And the great thing is that I'm singing better than before I had the injury. And there was a couple of years, I'll be very honest, that I wasn't finding some of the same joy that I did when I was on the stage after Ham, which was several years of my life. First the book, then the New York, and then Los Angeles, and then the film of it. And everything was feeling like it was harder. It was harder to, even vocally, to do the same things that I did. I was having more anxiety about getting on stage. And so miraculously, I'm not only healed, but I'm singing better and my spirit is better. The joy is back, you know?
Yes. I saw a show yesterday that was like AA for being in the pandemic.
Mm,
And I sat there and watched it and I thought this isn't me
mm.
because I think that the pandemic, whether people want to admit it or not, offered different things. It offered us a chance to reset. And
Yes,
I think we needed it. I know I did.
I did too. I think that the whole world had to reboot, and so many blessings came from it. Of course, people who were very ill or died. There's so much tragedy, but there's always blessings in the middle in these kinds of things, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know how many of us. I had Zoom reunions with people I did shows with people I grew up with people I went to college with that we hadn't connected in years and years and years. And this isolation promoted this feeling of tell people you love them,
Absolutely.
right?
Came out of our little closed off boxes.
Yeah, I'm too busy. I'm working. I'm so crazy. And we had the time and we had the time to also think about it and to really tell people that we love them and see how formative they were in our lives. So there were some blessings, definitely along the way.
My favorite question to ask singers is the following. If you had to choose a song or cycle of songs to describe who Sam Harris is, what would that be?
Row, row, row your boat.
Okay, that's the simplest answer I've ever heard.
You know what? It's funny because I was doing an interview the other day, and we started laughing because I was talking about just always. Didn't do row, row, row your boat. I didn't think of it. I thought about pushing the boulder up the hill. And I think when those of us who've been doing this for a very long time, and then somebody thinks it's all easy or that something happened easily. And the truth is, no matter, and I have friends who are way, way more famous than me, of course, um, and it never stops. You're always working and proving and promoting and auditioning, metaphorically or not. And I mean, I know that wasn't really the question you were answering, but
No, but
that makes me laugh because you just keep getting back up and you just do it and you reinvent. I'm an author, you know, I'm a songwriter, I direct, I cook, I garden, I like to create. And sometimes when things are, well, like during COVID, when I couldn't work, then we all started making bread.
that's one of the songs in the show.
Right?
And all I could think of when I heard this song was Claiborne Elder, because he would put pictures of bread on Facebook.
Funny. And I do actually talk about bread in my show, in the new show. You know, I say, why spend $1.69 on a loaf of sourdough when you can spend $15 in 2 days and it still doesn't taste very
And the funny thing is my friends will tell you I go on searches for sourdough bread.
good?
If you have it for $1.69, I'm impressed, because the last time I just bought a loaf and it was like $6.
Well, I go to the sourdough discount store. I don't know
I'd be
where to
there if
go.
I would be there if they had one. Um, what in your career haven't you done
Mhm.
that you would like to do?
I love doing things, roles that I'm not singing in. Um, I would love to do more television and film. The times that I have done it, it brings out something different and a different a different side of me. I mean, it's all the same. When I'm singing, I'm acting, I'm telling a story, I'm a character. But I enjoy also doing things that I'm not singing because singing is hard work. Singing is like being an athlete. You know, you're always training, training,
Absolutely.
training, and you never stop that. You have to be, and it's so funny because I've had like surgeries, I've had so many injuries, and they're like, being in show business is like being in the NFL. Um, so that's something I'd like to do more of. I never thought I would write a novel. I wrote Ham, which is autobiographical, and then I wrote a book called The Substance of All Things that came out last year, and it's probably my proudest accomplishment. It's literary fiction, and it's probably the thing I'm, as much as I am perceived as musical, and I am, I mean, that's my life and so much of my identity. Sitting and writing, I love words. I love punctuation. I love being moved by something. I love the rhythm of words. Um,
Which
it,
is singing.
which, pardon me?
That is singing, the rhythm of
It
words.
is, isn't it? It is. So I do love doing that.
I'm
And as I,
surprised.
go
I'm
ahead.
surprised that you didn't write during COVID.
Um, well, I had just finished this book and it was coming out. And when people were like, you know, what are you going to write next? I'm like, are you kidding me? It took me 4 years to write this book. I'm taking a break.
What haven't you done in your life that you
Hmm.
would like to do?
Okay, I'm going to be really, really frank. There are very few things that I want to do that I don't figure out how to do.
Mm.
I The greatest thing in my life is my family and my husband and my child. I It was the greatest decision I ever made to have a child and to dedicate uh, my best self to raising him. We live in Los Angeles, and I miss the hell out of New York City. I miss being on Broadway. I haven't been on a Broadway stage in a long time. And when we
Yes.
had Cooper, it was like, that's what I'm doing. I mean, yes, I traveled, yes, I wrote. That's why I started writing, by the way, because I could do it at home.
Mm.
Um, and when offers or things came up for a national tour or something, I was like, I can't do it now. Now he's almost 14, and I can totally see myself moving my family to New York for the right project for a year or two, or longer. I miss New York like mad. You have no idea. It's the only place I've ever really felt home. So, that's going to answer your question. What do I want to do that I haven't done? Probably move back to New York.
What role would you like to take on that you haven't had in musical theater? I know everyone says something that hasn't been written, but is there a role that you'd like to take on?
Well, I should play Fanny Bryce in the revival of Funny Girl, but I'm just not quite Jewish enough. Um, no, you know what? The closest thing would be a project that I worked on for years about Al Jolson. And it was actually slated for Broadway. We had our out of town theater, the Colonial in Boston. We had our costume fittings. It was announced in the New York Times. Sam Harris is playing this iconic entertainer, blah, 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 blah. And that article came out on my birthday. And during the day, I got a call that all the money had fallen out.
Oh,
The day that it was announced, the feature was in the Times and my birthday. And I was like, you're kidding. I had worked on it for several years. And we continued to work on it and develop it and backers, and it came so close. And that's again, the state of show business. I did a Zoom reunion the other day with the cast of The Life, and some of those people in the show, Chuck Cooper, Lilias White, Pamela Isaacs, had been involved with the show with Cy Coleman for 10 years before it got to Broadway.
wow.
I mean, if you're Cy Coleman and it takes 10 years, good Christ, you know? It's a name for the beast. But anyway, this show did not happen and will not happen, especially now because, you know, even though we really talked about and dealt with and the haunting of the whole blackface with him, I don't know that that could be done right now. I wasn't in blackface.
I
But
have one thing to say. It's a shame.
yeah.
I think we've gone so thin-skinned. It's insane.
Well, I agree with that, and particularly in comedy. And I I recognize the need for it, and I support that. And I have a kid who's growing up in this world, and I see how important it is. The pendulum has to swing very far to come back to the center, and I'm all for it. But I can't remember all the gender identity terms. There's like 72.
Oh, please, I don't even understand that. Whenever they say it, I'm not sure what they're telling me.
I know. I have to be reminded. I have to be told. But that's my job. It's
But
my
no,
job to catch up.
no. Why
It's
do I
not.
have to know your sexuality to think if
No.
you're a good I don't get this.
No, well, I understand. I also have talked to, kids my son's age and talk about everybody has masculine and feminine qualities. Everyone.
Bingo.
If I cry at a movie, is that addressing my feminine side? Well, that doesn't make me not a man or whatever. But it's not mine to figure out. And I'll still tell you this, as a gay man who grew up in the 60s and 70s in Bible Belt, Oklahoma, when I was considered an abomination and the church damned me and all of those things. If there had been a culture like now where I could have at least not felt shame, then I think there's a lot of people that would have turned out a lot healthier and wouldn't have gone through so much. Meanwhile, I am a very, very ardent believer that if I like myself now, then I can't regret anything that I went through because it
Absolutely.
got me here.
Absolutely. And you wouldn't have had the layer and treasure of everything to bring to your music.
That's true, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, art is born from pain and triumph over adversity.
Absolutely.
And I am grateful. I'm actually grateful for the pain that I went through. I had a suicide attempt when I was 16,
Oh, wow.
and it's in Ham and it's in the show. And I'm glad I wasn't successful, certainly, but it informed everything for the rest of my life, you know?
Absolutely. When are you playing at Feinstein's 54 Below? When can we catch you?
Next week, I mean, well, I don't know when this is airing, but the 16th and 17th, it's a Wednesday and a Thursday at 7 p.m. I'm really excited because it was my last place I played in New York, and I love that space. And the sound is wonderful, and the people are wonderful. And I promise I will do my damnedest to deserve the audience's company because everybody's been, should I go? Should I be in a space? Should I do this? And I think it's vital that we gather together and have share human experiences, and we laugh and cry and think and together, you know. And Zoom is terrific, and streaming shows is great.
I love Zoom.
I love it. And
I
my
love
show is going to be streamed on, for those who don't live in New York, my show will be streamed to the second show, the 17th. I'm so thrilled about that. But there's also nothing replaces sitting in a room with people and feeling, having the same emotion at the same time. You know, that's thrilling. That's thrilling.
Well, I'm so glad you're coming back to New York. Look forward to seeing the show
I'm so
and
glad you're
we
coming.
wish you all the best.